gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another What's Next in Basketball podcast episode. This is episode 15 of the podcast. So, we've been moving along here, finally getting some more episodes out now that I finally brought it back. And as you guys already know with the podcast, because I know we got some new viewers from the latest video of part 2 of should the NBA, add more teams. And definitely, I appreciate all the love that you guys have been showing in that video. I know last time I checked on the video, it was almost at 1K. So that was pretty cool to see. And obviously, we got a lot of subscribers from that. I think it was like a total of 13 subscribers from that video. So I appreciate all of you and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I know, like in that video, I didn't explain it much, but I'll explain it on here since, again, we got a lot of new viewers, so I'll explain what this is all about. This podcast is, I'm just going to talk about any news, rumors, debates, or anything crazy that's going on in the NBA. I will talk about it here. I used to talk about the games, but it was a lot to try and look at every single game and then give you guys a review on it. I just simply couldn't do it on my own. Maybe in the future, when I have maybe more people, if I hire people to help me out with this channel, maybe we can bring it back and I'll do reviews of the games like maybe once a week. I'll go through all the games that happened during that week. But for now, we're just going to talk about any news and stuff that's going on. So, without is that all I have to explain? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I just talk about all that stuff. Usually these episodes can last between like half an hour to an hour, maybe an hour and a half. You would see, like, obviously when you click on the video what it says, but um that's really how it is. So it's kind of supposed to be something for you guys to just put on, listen to on the side while you're, I don't know, cleaning your clothes, doing the dishes, doing homework or something. Just something to hear my awful takes on the NBA. But without further ado, let's see what's going on in the basketball world. Now, we have a total of, 11 things to talk about today. So this might be a long episode. We'll first talk about is actually about the Bulls game with the Jerry Krause situation. So for those of you that don't know, I think it was yesterday or the day before, there was a game that the Bulls had at home, and they were celebrating one of the Bulls championships that happened back in the 90s. And they were showing all the players, everyone's clapping their hands when they announced like the staff members and stuff. And one of them was the GM, Jerry Krause. And for those of you that have seen the Last Dance documentary or know Michael Jordan, how he feels about Jerry Krause, he has had a bad look in the spotlight, so not many people like Jerry Krause for multiple reasons. Whether you love the guy or hate the guy, you can't lie that he did help make a dynasty, whether you want to admit it or not. Now, I know he also destroyed that dynasty, but he also helped build it. So you have to give him some credit for what he did. And the reason why I'm saying this is because of what happened next. So they show Jerry Krause's picture for everyone to do cheers, and instead of cheers, there was boos. And obviously, Jerry Krause unfortunately passed away, and the person that represented him was his wife, or what do they say, widow? I guess the widow of Jerry Krause. I'm just gonna say wife. His wife, um, was the representative. Geez, I can't say that word, of Jerry Krause, and I shouldn't laugh. I apologize, but they showed her, and it was just nonstop boos from the crowd. Just boos everywhere. Obviously, the Bulls fans didn't know that his wife was in attendance for him, but that was not a good look on the NBA or the Bulls fans, and it left a bad taste in everybody's mouths in the NBA. It was a huge talking point for yesterday, even today, and I'm sure for the next couple of days there'll be a big talk about that. And I understand why Bulls fans did it. Again, Michael Jordan didn't like him, and Michael Jordan is considered one of the greatest players of all time. Yes, I have to say considered because a lot of people like LeBron James too. No disrespect to LeBron James, he's great too. I already told you, if y'all think he's the GOAT, that's completely fine with me. And you know, because of that, like I said, they kind of put a bad spotlight on him, especially in the Last Dance documentary. They kind of make him look like the bad guy. So of course people are gonna boo him and not like him. It just sucks that his wife had to take the punches because you could see his wife was very emotional and she just did not want to be a part of it after that. And the NBA media and stuff was saying, "Oh, this is horrible. The Bulls fans are horrible for this. The worst thing I've ever seen." I know Steve Kerr after the game, because they were facing the Warriors during that game, he ended up saying like how that was like disgusting and stuff. And that was horrible for the Bulls fans, saying this was just a disappointment for Bulls fans. Fans even themselves that weren't at the game were saying the people in that arena should be ashamed of themselves. And I'll say that I'll play devil's advocate about this stuff. In one hand, I agree. I think they should be ashamed for what they did because they shouldn't have booed that man because of the legacy that he created. But now I know he had some stuff about him that, he had some drama towards him as to why people didn't like him. But you still have to give the man credit because he is the one that helped build this team that we all consider one of the greatest teams of all time. Now, on the other hand, can you really like give full blame, I'll say, to the Bulls fans? Because again, I already said it a couple times, they have been shown to hate Jerry Krause because of Michael Jordan, who doesn't like him, how the documentary showed him, how sometimes the media was showing him. It's like they showed him in a bad spotlight and made him look like the bad guy. So of course they're gonna boo him. If Michael Jordan doesn't like him, then of course his fans are gonna like him either. That's just how it goes. If you have a friend and that friend doesn't like somebody, you might not like them either because you're just like, well, my friend thinks he's this horrible person and stuff, blah blah blah. Like if he's not cool with my friend, I'm not cool with him. That kind of stuff. Now, there's a lot more context to that, obviously, but that's just an example. And it's just can you really blame them? Like obviously I'm not saying like, oh yeah, like they should have done that, like give them a high five. Like no, that was awful. You shouldn't have booed him like that because that was really disrespectful. Like there's no other way to say it. That was disrespectful. But again, you kind of have to look at both sides with this because on one hand it was really bad, on the other hand, again, when you show them in a certain way, that's how people are going to react. Now it sucks for his wife that she had to, again, she was kind of the victim towards this and had to get the booze rained on her. So my condolences to her for having to deal with that. I'm sure that was not a good situation to be in, but you know, that's all I really have to say about that. It just sucks, but I just want to give my quick opinion on it about that, that whole thing. The next thing we'll talk about real quick is about my Knicks. Coach Thibodeau, or is it Coach Thibodeau, right? Just Coach Tibbs, all right, that's what we call him, Coach Tibbs. He got his 500th win as a coach when they faced off against the Grizzlies yesterday. So I just want to say congratulations to him. We had our ups and downs with that coach, but I got to say he's one of the best coaches we've ever had. So congratulations to him. It's an honor for him to be on my team to get that 500th win. And obviously my Knicks have been doing great. They've won 6 out of their 7 last games and have just having a great start to the year. And I know I don't really talk about them that much, which is really surprising because when you look in the background of my videos, it's just, I don't know. I feel like there hasn't been any like big key point that I wanted to talk about when it came to the Knicks. Obviously, we had that trade that happened at the end of December, and I made a video on it. But since then, there's not really like big things. I was gonna make a video on like their winning streak, but then the Dallas Mavericks had other ideas. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe depending on how their month goes for January, maybe I'll talk about the month as a whole and how great it was, but we'll see how it goes. Right now they're 6-1 to start off in January. Next up, real quick, I want to talk about the LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball's tattoo. For those of you that don't know, I actually have the source right here, so you might see me looking at the screen. The NBA has allowed LaMelo Ball to to finally not use, reveal like the tattoo that was on his neck. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but LaMelo Ball did have a tattoo that was kind of like a logo for like his company or something. I don't know which side it was, but it was like around like somewhere around here on his neck. And the NBA ended up making him wear something like told him to put a patch on it that he wasn't allowed to wear that because it was sponsoring a company. And apparently in their rules, it says you can't have something that's sponsoring a company or your own company or any of that sorts on your body. So they were like, oh, okay. And then LaMelo Ball's lawyers and stuff have been in conversations with the NBA, trying to figure out something to work this situation out. So they finally came to an agreement where the NBA said that they will let LaMelo Ball reveal the tattoo. He doesn't have to put a patch on it or anything. And the reason for this is because his representatives, the people that helped LaMelo Ball, said that the LF represents not just his company. This actually was a logo that he used way before the company was even made. It's supposed to represent his middle name and that of a close family member, his uncle. So it has more meaning to it than the NBA realized and we realized as fans. So because of that, the NBA said, "All right, we'll let you use it." And yeah, so now he's allowed to wear that tattoo. So for the past couple weeks, if you were like a Hornets fan and you saw LaMelo Ball wearing that patch, he shouldn't be wearing it anymore. And I guess that's cool. I thought in the beginning anyway that it was kind of silly to make him even wear a patch because they were like, "Oh, well, it's sponsoring the company." I'm like, okay, sure, but who really cares? Like in the middle of a game, these like when you're watching TV, these players are far away where there's no way you would have noticed that tattoo. I didn't even know he had a tattoo on his neck until the NBA made it a big deal. So they did it to themselves to make it a big deal, honestly. But then it is what it is at this point. I'm just happy he doesn't have to wear something that probably bothered him since, he always had to wear it every single game. But yeah, there's that. So the next thing we have on here to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies. These are the next two things I'll talk about. Both are about the Memphis Grizzlies. So the first thing is just to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies is about just their players. Like, unfortunately, the Grizzlies have been getting a lot of players hurt. There's John Morant that has to get surgery, Marcus Smart that has to get surgery. I know Desmond Bain was out with I think it was a left ankle sprain. Jaren Jackson Jr. was out, and they have like a couple more players that are out. And I just feel bad for this team. Like, it's so crazy to think about how a year ago they were like maybe a top 3, top 4 seed, and they looked like they were going to be a promising future team for the years to come. Now they're over here not even looking like they'll make the play in. And at this point, it seems like they might just try to do a tank push, try to get maybe someone like Cooper Flag or something, which again, I said it before, I believe in the previous video, but this might end up being a blessing in disguise for them, where they'll get like a really good pick in the draft that would just help their team improve even more. And, it's just stuff like that it's unfortunate, but I feel like this will help them along the way with having some injuries right now. It's just like it did seem like they were going to try to make a push when John Morant came back. Then he got hurt. Then Marcus Smart decided to get surgery for his fingers since they weren't doing good. It's just a mess for the Grizzlies. So, Grizzlies fans, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. And the other thing too was just about John Morant's injury, which I already said he's going to be out for the rest of the season. So I wish him a speedy recovery. Now I know he's had a lot of drama towards him. I know it's really rough for John Morant because you were gone for it had to been like it probably felt like forever for him when it came to being suspended. You finally come back only to play like I think it was like 9 games or something like that to get hurt again. Not only get hurt, but you're going to miss the rest of the season. So that's another year where you don't get to play basketball. And I know that's definitely hurting him mentally. So I wish him the best. The next thing we'll talk about is the about the Miami Heat coach. So was it Eric Spoelstra signed a new contract extension with the Miami Heat, which was a 8-year contract that was worth at least 120 million. So that's pretty cool to see. Congratulations to him. It actually says here that he will continue as one of the longest tenured team coaches when it comes to like their relationship in the NBA. So that's really cool to see. Eric is a very, very good coach. So it's awesome to see that the Heat see that too, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna keep him for as long as he can, because Eric has many, 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 many more years ahead of him when it comes to coaching, and he's still pretty. Oh, for a coach, I think he's pretty young, right? Let's look him up. Where'd he go? Here he is. Gotta say his age. Duh. Yeah, he's 53 years old, which for a coach, I don't think that's old, is it? Like that still seems pretty young for a coach cuz I think most coaches are around like their 40s, I think. So, he's still fairly young for a coach, so that's awesome to see that they get to keep him. Hopefully they get another championship or two in them this season. Hey, they might be a sleeper pick because of how great the Miami Heat have been doing. They kind of been coming back after a rough start to the season and the off season. So glad to see that. Hope wish them a lot of luck. The next thing we'll talk about is about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard recently signed a contract extension. It was, let me look on here. It was 3 years for 153 million. So he's going to stay with the Clippers. I know that was a big talk about him and Paul George if they're going to stay with the Clippers because of the situations that have been going on. A lot of people thought that maybe they might try to leave and go somewhere else, but it seems like that will not be the case for Kawhi. Now, as of recording, I haven't heard anything about Paul George with him potentially signing a new contract extension with them. So the news, like the rumors, I'll say right now is that the Clippers are expecting a some negotiations for a new contract with Paul George, but as of right now, there hasn't been a new one. But again, the whole thing is that he should resign, so that's good to hear. Next up, we will talk about the NBA draft. So recently, the NBA came out saying that they will be planning on doing 2 nights for the NBA draft. For those of you that are like football fans, I think baseball does it as well. You're probably familiar when it comes to 2 nights or multiple night drafts, and that's what the NBA is doing. The reason behind this is because a lot of GMs and organizations in the NBA feel like they don't have enough time when it comes to the second round. Like they feel like it's like it gets rushed towards them to figure out who they want in the second round. So this is supposed to help with those organizations and teams in figuring out who they want for their second round picks. This could give them time to do trades, ideas, like I said, and anything else that they need to know so they can just sleep on it instead of just rushing to be like, oh, we'll just pick this guy. Because most of the time those teams are just worrying about the first round picks and who they want. And then the second round's kind of like left over, and they're like, oh, just get this guy. And I feel like this will be very beneficial for the NBA, especially having 2 nights, especially for the second round, because we always end up getting like some sleeper pick in the second round that becomes like, it could be like they could be a really good player, an all-star player, maybe even a superstar player. So that would help a lot, which is really cool to see. Um, I know right now it's not official yet. Like it's not like officially like, oh, they're doing 2 nights. They still need to talk to the National Basketball Player Association and see how they feel about it. But once they can come to an agreement, that is the plan for the NBA draft. So either expect it in the next draft, if not next year's draft, expect it in the following. So that I think is a good idea. Again, I think it will help the NBA a lot. I don't really mind it. That helps for someone like me too, because it's like, okay, maybe if I want to do like a live stream or something, I'll talk about the first round and then as a video, and then I can also do a live stream of it, and then I can do a live stream for the next day or something. So I'm sure this will be beneficial just for everybody involved. But that's really all I have to say about it. The next thing we'll talk about is the Pistons trade. So earlier this morning, as of recording, the Detroit Pistons and Washington Wizards did a trade. So now you're probably wondering, well, what was the trade? So the trade, here's what it was. It was at 10:30 a.m. January 14th. The Detroit Pistons are sending Marvin Bagley III, Isaiah Livers, and 2 second-round picks. Those picks are a 2025 and a 2026 to the Washington Wizards for Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala. Then that's pretty much it. That's what the deal looks like. So it seems like Marvin Bagley will once again go to a new team. It really sucks because I know he had a lot of potential in him, Marvin Bagley, but with injuries and it kind of seems like maybe a little bit of inconsistency, but I feel like it's really just been injuries that's been the big problem for him. It's just like we bring him to all these teams somewhere that like he really won't have the spotlight and can really redeem himself, but it just doesn't seem like he's going to do that. and that's very unfortunate. As for the other players, Gallinari, he's a good bench player to have. I don't really know what he's doing these days. I thought he retired, to be quite honest with you all. Isaiah Livers, I'm gonna be honest. Y'all can say I don't know ball, but I have no idea what Isaiah Livers, who he is. Like I've never really watched his game like that. Looking at his stats here, they don't look too crazy. So it seems like he's another bench player for them. Who knows? Maybe for him this will be an opportunity to show everybody what he's about. But I don't. I apologize. I don't know much about you, bro. But that's all we'll really say about that. As for the Wizards, I know they're probably just doing more trades. Just it seems like they'll probably just keep doing their little tank stuff and work from there. But I think that'll be at least an interesting combo of Jordan Poole, Marvin Bagley, Kyle Kuzma. But again, the Wizards have just been very awful this season, so I don't know how much that will really help them. Next, we're going to talk about a big thing for the NBA, and that's about Draymond Green. That's right. Once again, we're talking about Draymond Green. And this time it's not about fights. It's not about him getting fined. It's not about him getting suspended again. This is about his return. All right, cue in the picture of Michael Jordan saying, "I'm back." That's Draymond. Draymond Green's coming back. He's expected to return actually tomorrow, which is on a Monday, against the Memphis Grizzlies. So it'll be the Warriors and Grizzlies. He's expected to come back during that game. So, hey, let's see how he is now. If he got everything, situated, if he's all good now. Again, I do wish him all the best. It's just the things he's doing is very ridiculous. And hopefully he can keep that together and in control. But yeah, Draymond Green's coming back. So I'm just all you NBA players, be careful out there. Make sure you got your boxing gloves. I'm kidding, Draymond. Please don't hurt me. Like I don't need to box you. I've seen what you can do out there. I don't need none of that. Now, to end this podcast off, these were all we had a lot of things to talk about, but I got through them pretty quickly, so it looks like it'll be another short podcast episode for you guys. Um, it is about I can't speak. The Netflix series that the NBA is doing, which is kind of be something like the documentary series called The Quarterback. If you guys ever seen it, it was like a bunch of different quarterbacks, and it went through their whole season. Just watching them and stuff. It was very popular. I saw a little bit of it. I'm not big on the NFL. As much as I am with the NBA, I watch it here and there. I was watching some of the wild card games that were going on, but yeah, this is gonna be kind of like that kind of documentary. If you ever seen Quarterback, it's gonna involve 5 players. Those 5 players will be Domantas Sabonis, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and Jimmy Butler. I'm very excited for this documentary because I've heard a lot of praise with Quarterback, so I'm hoping this will be a good documentary because I'm very big on those. I love documentaries, so I definitely will be tuning into those. Um, Let's see. I think that's everything I wanted to talk. Oh, we'll end off with 2 more things. These are more just rumors that are going on. There's been rumors with the NBA trade deadline happening very, very soon in less than a month. A lot of trades, have just been going on. I know one of them is about Pascal Siakam. There's been rumors that he might get traded. I know there's teams like the Warriors, the 76ers. I think I've even heard the Lakers interested in him. So big name teams are interested in Pascal Siakam. So definitely keep a out for that. And the other one's DeJounte Murray. It seems like the Hawks have decided that DeJounte and Trae Young are just not going to work out, and they're going to try to split their ways with DeJounte because it seems like they still believe in Trae Young, which makes sense because I think he's leading in assists this season. I know he has at least 10 assists a game is what he's averaging, and obviously they're going to believe in him, but they just feel like DeJounte's not really working. And the big team I've heard is the Lakers as potential team that will trade for DeJounte. I've heard rumors that the Hawks, if they do a trade, they want Austin Reeves in return. So I'm very interested to see if the Lakers will give him up. I personally wouldn't give up Austin Reeves just because of how great he is and the potential he has. But when you're on a team with LeBron James and your goal is to win, you just gotta do whatever it takes, I guess, to help him win. Because AD and LeBron have been playing phenomenal this season, and you really don't want to waste that, especially Anthony Davis, who has had multiple injury problems, and who knows when he's going to get injured again. He's doing really great this season, so we need to keep that momentum going and get some wins. Because if you have a season where he's doing really good and then you don't even make like the play-in or anything, that's a big problem. As for any other teams, I know the Knicks were another team that was interested in DeJounte Murray. I don't know if they are still in trade talks. It seems like the Lakers are the highest uh, bidders, we'll say. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but they're very likely into getting DeJounte. But that is going to be all the news that we will talk about in this episode, episode 15 of the What's Next on Basketball podcast. Yeah, these episodes are definitely getting a lot shorter. Um, I don't really have an answer for that. It's just the news. I can talk about it pretty quickly. I think with the YouTube thing going on, I've been getting a lot better and not talking for like hours. But for those of you, this will also be available on Spotify as well. I probably should have said it earlier in the video, but it's also going to be on Spotify. I have all my episodes that will always be uploaded on there, except for episode 14. I have to upload episode 14. I haven't done that yet, but 14 and 15 will be uploaded to Spotify. This will obviously be uploaded to the YouTube channel as well. And just I appreciate you all for listening. If you made it till the end, let me know any other news or anything that I might have not mentioned. I'll definitely, we can talk about it and stuff. I always try to look at every comment and try to respond as best as I can. And again, appreciate all the support I've been getting recently. And until then, I am your host of the What's Next on Basketball podcast, the YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram. I'm all of that. Jeremy, and I am signing off for the day. Have a great day, everybody. Oop, that was a lot.